Hello and welcome to Northwire. Today, we're diving into a landmark moment for cooperation between Canada and the European Union. Recently, during the announcement of the EU-Canada Strategic Partnership for the Future, something remarkable happened. European officials didn't just praise Canada's alignment with European values. They announced Canada would be joining SAFE, the Security Action for Europe initiative. This is a huge deal because SAFE was originally created exclusively for EU member states. Everyone expected the first non-EU partner to be a global giant like the United States or the United Kingdom. So Canada's inclusion is a fascinating and significant development. What exactly is SAFE? It's a gateway to major industrial programs, cutting-edge research partnerships, and long-term development projects all tied to Europe's defense modernization. Canada's participation signals a strategic shift towards deep collaboration, stable partnerships, and shared long-term planning. To understand how special this is, remember that the SAFE program has always been an exclusive club for EU members. The United States has never participated. The United Kingdom explored joining, but the negotiations ultimately fizzled out. And then there's Canada, which joined with a relatively modest contribution of around $10 million. Observers say this highlights the true spirit of the agreement. It's built on cooperation, not just a simple transaction. In a world where global trade has become increasingly unpredictable, this move makes perfect sense. With international policies shifting constantly, many countries, including those in Europe, are searching for stable, long-term partnerships they can rely on. Canada's consistent and dependable approach to international cooperation is exactly what they were looking for, which explains its warm reception. The contrast with the UK's earlier negotiations is often brought up in policy circles. During those talks, proposed costs fluctuated, and eventually, both sides decided to step back. At the same time, growing conversations about global trade and changing international priorities pushed Europe to diversify its partnerships beyond its traditional allies. This is where Canada's strategy really shone. The Canadian approach was centered on alignment, transparency, and a clear focus on shared objectives. Canadian officials also made it clear they wanted to balance their defense cooperation among various partners, which meshed perfectly with Europe's own long-term goals. Now, let's talk about what SAFE actually offers. It provides access to one of the world's largest industrial collaboration frameworks. The program is packed with funding to expand Europe's industrial capacity, strengthen its supply chains, and supercharge innovation. As part of its broader Readiness 2030 strategy, Europe is planning a massive, long-term modernization effort that could involve over $1 trillion in industrial activity in the coming years. So, what does this mean for Canada? It opens up massive opportunities in key sectors. We're talking about advanced materials, aerospace technology, unmanned systems, defense manufacturing, and high-level engineering and research collaboration. These are precisely the areas where Europe has growing needs, creating a perfect environment for cooperative development and growth. SAFE isn't just a shopping list for military hardware. It's a platform that encourages joint investment, shared research, and the creation of long-term industrial partnerships. This could mean Canadian companies becoming secondary production hubs in sectors where Europe is planning major expansions. It's a win-win. Europe gets additional industrial capacity, and Canada secures stable, long-term demand for its industries. Another critical element here is sustainability. The SAFE program places a strong emphasis on low-carbon production and modern, clean industrial standards. This is an area where Canada has a significant advantage, thanks to its leadership in clean energy and updated manufacturing practices. From Canada's perspective, the program offers much-needed diversification for its economy and industries. For Europe, it adds resilience and flexibility to its supply chains, which is more important than ever. So beyond the fine print of the agreement, Canada's entry into SAFE signals a much broader international trend. Countries are actively expanding their partnerships, looking for collaborators who are stable, predictable, and reliable. Canada's participation demonstrates how mid-sized nations can carve out incredibly meaningful roles within large-scale, long-term cooperative frameworks. As the world continues to evolve, partnerships like this underscore the growing importance of reliability, sustainability, and long-term alignment. The SAFE initiative shows us how new forms of international cooperation are emerging, partnerships built not just on economic size or historical ties, but on shared values and a consistent track record of collaboration. It's a new chapter for both Canada and the EU, and it will be fascinating to watch it unfold. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. See you next time.